What's up, y'all? Shuffle. We're doing a tier list today for Kingdom Stagecoach gear. We are joined by the fabulous friend of the channel, the Real Spartan.
Hello. I'm here at like 2 a.m. and yeah, we're gonna have some fun.
I know we got fortunate enough to link up time zones thanks to insomnia and whatnot, but yeah, morning here, morning there. Just here it's 9, there it's 2.
Yes, and we're going to be talking about Stagecoach items, and yeah, the common viewer who plays this game very casually would think, what's the difference between a Stagecoach tier list for the base game and Kingdoms? It's basically the same gameplay. And the answer is no! No, it's not. It's very different.
It's true.
Okay, it's not that different, but you get the point.
Yeah, it's slightly different because that was my first reaction, was saying, oh, aren't they just going to be the same anyway? And then you explained why, and I went, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. So we're going to go through it, and you ever saw the DD1 skills tier list we did together? Usually it's, we both kind of put a placement, then we discuss why it should be here or there, and one of us concedes after many minutes of brutal mental warfare, which is totally going to happen.
And then our Discord icon explodes like in Hearthstone.
You win this time, explodes, thanks.
Well played, well played, well played.
Oh, BM, dude. Oh my god, I forgot all about Hearthstone. Alright. So, what do you think of these 5 tiers? Should we have 5? Is there that much of a discrepancy? Should we go to 4?
Well, I don't think that anything deserves to be, like, absolutely unusable. Everything has its uses in some way, so maybe we only need 4, honestly.
Okay. That's also a really good point, because this is a disclaimer that has to be made about tier lists for Darkest Dungeon specifically, is that everything can win. Everything can be used. Everything has its own niche and stuff like that, but there are some things that are more usable and consistently good than others. So don't think that just because something's in the bottom, it's absolute trash, you should never get it. All right, sometimes you randomly get it and you have to make use of it, so don't take it as like stuff is completely terrible.
Yes, and I doubt that there's any Stagecoach items specifically that have detrimental effects, as opposed to, like, say, trinkets that have something like strong shackles.
Yeah, that's right. There are trinkets that have negatives, and sometimes in Kingdoms those negatives are really dangerous, like some of those early just neutral trinkets that have like minus death blow resist, which is, I think it's the anchor charm or something like that, and that's just terrifying because you already have like 60 base, and so just any drop to DBR is always scary.
What do you mean? Death blow resist is a myth.
True. You can, that's the other side of the coin, is it never mattered in the first place, so it's just all upside.
Alright, so I guess we're starting with the basic ones, the ones that have like no item type that don't benefit from any pets, that being the storage lockers.
Yeah, I'm surprised these two aren't road gear. I guess that would just inflate the road gear section a bit more, but
if you really want to talk about stuff like that and the weird typing, just why are the almanacs not scouting gear when it's like descriptions of areas?
I know, it's like, I think scouting gear could honestly use the bump. It's not like the road gear itself is marginally useful, but you know, it still has something to do. The scouting gear, some of it can't even matter at a point, so this would make more sense to be scouting, but I digress. I also just realized they had very cool looking bookmarks that match the color of the cover. Very cool. Good job, Red Hook.
Good job, Chris.
Chris, yes. Alright, storage boxes. I don't know if we can rate these together, since they do essentially the same thing. One just gives you 3, the other gives you 6.
Well, that's kind of the thing about Kingdoms, how you're not going to see the higher tier one until you've upgraded one of the inns, most likely, because it does count as better in items.
That's true. I don't remember ever, maybe I got this once or twice just naturally playing, but I don't remember seeing it that often, if at all. But I've seen the little one quite a bit.
Yeah, so we probably do need to consider that by the time you find the big one, it will have been at an upgraded inn and has to compete with some of the better items.
It's true.
However, I will concede that in Kingdoms you tend to be carrying a lot more items with you, so extra storage space is kind of useful, because along with trinkets and baubles, all paid for in blood, of course, you need to carry around in materials, which also have their own slots.
Yes. They were kind enough to increase the base wagon storage for kingdoms, but as you're saying there, you have to carry a lot more currency. You have to carry extra trinkets, like trade them around to different people, more niche items that you may need, in a couple hours from then. You're not going to use them necessarily right away. And then, not to get super spoilery, but there's also that quest step that absolutely just trashes your inventory space. So these don't feel to me too impactful at the very beginning, but like mid-game, late game, they're okay.
So there's not much more to say about these. So where do you think they go?
I want to put the little one in B, but I don't know if I want to put the big one in B. If I want to put it in A.
Put the big one in A. Well, of course, you need to take into consideration that, yes, it does only appear in the late game usually. Unless... Because here's the thing about Kingdoms, we don't truly know whether you can get better stagecoach items randomly. That's kind of an issue.
Yeah, we need to have someone dig into the files and look at loot tables.
But yeah, I definitely do agree the small one should go in B. It's not as low impact to be on C tier.
Yeah. I mean, it's helpful. It'll never not be bad. It's just that early game you won't really need it, and then late game you'll probably have better stuff, and there's that one quest step where you can't even equip it, so I guess that would be a detriment to every single piece of gear here, so it's not something to worry about.
So considering it's the first items on the list, we can probably put it in A, and then later on we'll see if it belongs in there.
That's fair. Alright. The next one, also storage, but it's the Strongbox. Increases relic and bauble stacking by 12, which puts them up to 52 each, I believe.
Yes, that is correct. And much like the next 8 items, it's a luxury gear, so it buffs the orphan wolf cubs stress resist.
Right. Yeah, you get the wolf cub. You can find that at camps, I think. So it's not the rarest thing in the world.
I believe it also counts as a basic pet, so you don't need the more advanced pets.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Buff.
Okay, so I'm almost thinking A, just because the potential for wolf cub is decent, but then also a lot of times you will be a little strapped for currency, but mid game, late game, you'll probably be able to start amassing currency, and this can save you like 2 or 3 spaces. So maybe it's B.
Yeah, so
it's like a conditional storage box.
Yeah. So for personal experience for me, I've seen that most of the time I've ended up with baubles from multiple different regions, because you need to remember that there's 5 regions you need to go through now, and if you don't find a good hoarder or a good inn to get items from, you will be stacking up different types of baubles from different regions, and having say 45 baubles from 3 different regions is going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, that's so annoying. Walk around with your 8 pine cones.
Yeah, that's a real issue. This kind of helps with that. Not really, but it is, in the end, basically just extra storage space.
Yeah, I'm just talking about it like that, I'm actually, I want to push it to C at this point. It's like conditional storage box, and the condition is not as easy to achieve.
Yeah, I don't think Orphan Wolf Cub really helps with this.
True. Okay. Are we feeling C then?
Yeah, this is not the best.
Okay. Collector Chandelier this isn't in Kingdoms, right?
Does this even spawn in Kingdoms? I have no idea, because there's no candles.
I don't believe it does. Collector just has a chance to appear like he normally does if you have a trophy, so...
Yeah. I think we just throw this away and use it as a placeholder for a different item.
Alright, this is...
Which we have done.
Yes, there are a couple things we had to swap out because they weren't on this list. Because Aubrey decided to make this all the way in like 2023.
Yeah, no future sight. Tisk tisk.
All right. The Loom, I honestly don't like this too much in Confessions, but let's see. Woven items are bandages, fishnet, and milk soaked linen.
Yeah. They aren't really the best. Fisherman's net is kind of useful, however, in Hunger of the Beast, of course, merely because a prime target for Fisherman's net is the goat guys that have the blind attack in the back ranks. They are quite susceptible to this.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't pull them, but that minus speed can greatly help you finish them off before they get a buff or a blight.
True, and they buff their friends and stuff. That's a very good point. I was also going to say the Tribe Walker, the riposte one, he generates
that's true.
Enraged by moving, so you can lock him down with this too. That's actually pretty helpful.
Yeah, and it's 2 of them. It's not just 1, so it's 2 turns of that.
Oh god, yeah, okay. The Beastmen don't bleed you, actually no, the Rock Claws do. I guess bandages are solid. The Fisherman net is actually pretty good, and then especially with the speed debuff just on any of them, because they're so good about just like bogging you down if they get ahead of you. Like you have damage over time, they weaken you, then they set up riposte, so you're doing like 4 damage hits and an 8 damage riposte, and being able to mitigate that is really good. Is Fisherman's net like sleeper OP?
It may actually be one of the better combat items.
It seems like it, outside of like the normal good ones like Salve. So the only thing is that they don't blind you, but blind is still relatively common just overall. You have to go to all the regions at some point, and what is it? The Tundra, the Evangelist blind you, the Sprawl, the Shaman blind you. Can anything blind you in the Fetter?
I would like to point out that as you go further and further through the Kingdoms campaign, with escalation going up, when escalation goes to 3, Torch starts to drain very quickly, and if you, for instance, have an in siege, you will most likely be facing that in siege with very low Torch, meaning you can randomly just roll blind for no reason, and having some milk-soaked linen in the back pocket on a fast character to just remove it at the start of the round can be very clutch.
True, I forgot all about that. Yeah, because right now, when you roll into like an Escalation 3 Siege, if you don't have any glimmers, you roll into it at 0 Torch. And at 0 Torch in Kingdoms, it's a 10% chance to blind you. That is very, very high. A lot of people get worried about the like minus 6% DBR, which, statistically is lethal, but what's going to kill you more easily, in my experience, is getting blinded, because you drop kills that you should have picked up. So, I didn't rate this too highly, but now just talking about that, I think it's actually really good.
Yeah, the Worktable Loom is actually really good on at least the late game if you don't have, or if you have something that you can swap out for a region. Just gain a few, keep them in your back pocket for later.
Yeah, okay.
I'd say this is A tier, actually.
Yeah, I'm starting to agree with that. I like it. I was like, it's definitely not S, but like, I don't feel right putting it lower than this. It's actually pretty freaking useful.
Yeah, it creates one of the more useful type of items.
Yeah. All right, Wind Chime. This is a good one in Confessions, and pretty good in Kingdoms too, where you just after a location you lose 1 stress. That's all it does, but each region is 3 nodes in Kingdoms, unless you get the event where it's longer. So this is like minus 3 stress on your team, for every region, and I think that's really good still.
I don't think it's that impactful personally, because the thing about the inns is you have ample opportunity to really stress heal yourself, and this is one of the more expensive items at 40 baubles.
True. Yeah. And you can always pass days, so maybe it's, maybe this is one of the things where it's better in Confessions. I thought it was going to be the same power level, but I forgot how much, and you can swap characters around too, so I forgot how much of a chance you have to mitigate stress.
Yeah, I feel stress is a bit less of an issue outside of combat in Kingdoms.
Well,
I mean, it's not a bad item. It is still free stress healing.
it is, but the impact is much lower, and the need for it isn't quite as high. So, is it B?
I'm thinking either B or C, honestly.
Ooh, I don't know if I feel right putting it in C, even though C is in the word chime, but
I guess we can put it in B.
all right. We'll look at it again after. Maybe we'll change our minds and whatnot, but definitely interesting. All right, the T service. So important to note, this plus 6% for each hero, you get the positive relationship chance. This means it's 12% per pair, because each hero gets the 6. And the and positive relationships are very, very, very good in general, but really good in Kingdoms because they last like 5 days. So, you think about it, if you understand how to clear the quest relatively fast, your Kingdoms campaign will probably be about 25 days. So, like, you get like 3 positive relationships in the back half. That's like most of the run.
Yeah, and T-Service has the benefit of being a buff that you do not need to keep this item on your stagecoach. For instance, if you have a team of 4, you put on your T-Service, you go to a region, you get those positive relationships. Next region, if you're running the same team and you're like, okay, I don't need T-Service to give me the buff because I've already got the positive relationships, you can slot it off and keep it in your inventory to put on something else and keep it there until you get your next team out.
True. Oh my god, so freaking smart. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. If you're not sitting and resting and stuff like that, you get 5 whole days to swap that out and then pop it back on. So, this is our first S tier.
This is a very good item. I don't know if it belongs in S, however. I'd say this is like a really high A, but what do you think?
Oh god, it's so hard. I can do A for right now, and I don't usually do left to right on like the power level thing, but I'll put it on like the left.
Just a reminder
to do it. Yeah. So I'll leave it there for now. It'll probably stay there because 12% isn't a ton, but 12% is still a noticeable amount. All right.
I mean, it's a high chance of then getting blinded with the Zero Torch.
True, actually. Good point. All right, Trinket Organizer. I think this thing's amazing in both game modes.
Yeah, this is a ridiculous item.
Yeah, increased chance of looting trinkets. I don't think there's a cap on what it can pull. Like, this can get you, I know in Confessions, this can get you a nautical compass on, like, the first fight, like, of the entire run. So...
Yeah, I've had runs in Confessions where I go to the first valley inn, buy Trinket Organizer, and the first fight I do in the Feta gives me, like, the Curing Cuppa.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing pops off pretty hard.
Yeah, and it's, like, works on road fights as well.
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's the crazy part.
And there's a lot of road fights in late Kingdoms, because road fight chance increases, I believe, at the first escalation, like, increase.
Yeah, like, escalation 2 and 3, just the, back part of the game is... Well, unless you're doing like Blood Moon, then it's 8 days in. But there is a lot of fighting, especially at the end of the game. There's just a ton of fighting. So this gives you a really good chance of pulling stuff. And the other thing too with Kingdoms is that since you have multiple heroes, you can move stuff around and all that. There will be very few unusable trinkets that you pull out of this thing. And if you pull a very weak trinket, then you can hold on to it so you don't loot it again later. It's just out of the pool. And then if this pulls any indelibles or hero trinkets or something like that, it's just massive value.
Yeah, one thing about Kingdoms is that if you get like a whole ton of indelible trinkets, like really valuable ones, say for instance you get, I've got Snappy Swig, I've got Nautical Compass, I've got the plus 10 crit rare trinket, the bow.
Seeker.
And normally in a normal game, you'd be like, I can't put all these trinkets on all my units. But now you can, because you've got a whole army to outfit, and they're all useful now. So yeah.
I,
Also, you don't have to hold on to like the weak trinkets for very long because you can slot them onto heroes as they leave the party. You can just keep them with you, and it's basically a free inventory slot.
God, so true. Oh my god, is this the first S tier?
This may be an S tier item, yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. I want to. We can always review it. You can stop me later, but I'm gonna put it there for now. God, that thing's so good.
Oh yeah, and speaking of so good, let's just place Merchant's Guild Seal on S tier. There is no argument that this is anything other than S tier. This is just a stupid item in Kingdoms.
Yeah, because currency is a little more scarce, and you have to be careful with how you spend stuff. But like, the thing in Kingdoms 2 is that you can unlock more items to get through the inn upgrade trees, and the provisioner tree, which is, you know, the item tree, already has built-in price reductions. So you can stack this on top of those, and everything is dirt cheap. So this thing is... In Confessions, you get it the first inn, it pays massive dividends. You get in Kingdoms also the same thing, for the same reason. It's just, currency is scarce. This makes it easier to buy harder to get stuff.
And don't forget, the biggest benefit of this item is that since you buy stuff in the inn, which is how you're going to be spending most of your money, this doesn't even need to be on your stagecoach 99% of the time. You slot it in your stagecoach the first thing you do when you get to an inn, and then you buy everything, and when you're ready to leave, you just remove it. You've already used it all as you need to. It basically doesn't take up a slot.
I know. Oh my god, that thing's amazing. You know, you'll lose the benefit if you find the random hoarder or hospital, but Escalation 2 and 3, those don't appear nearly as often, so... Especially like Escalation 3, I legit feel every single node is just resistance node, and maybe like the occasional study, but I'm sure everything has a equal chance of appearing. Well, besides resistance, I'm pretty sure it's like weighted. Yeah. Amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah, this item is stupid.
Yeah. Alright, since we're here too, next one is Spacious Strongbox. So this is like the Strongbox. But what if we gave you the Battle Pass version of the Strongbox, where it did more? Plus you get the deliverable, which gives you a bunch of currency.
Yeah, and the only downside is you have to roll a 50% chance to get the sluice and use the underground transport.
Oh, dude, the sluice is so lethal in Kingdoms. I mean, it's lethal in general, but like Kingdoms feels like it's a different beast.
I think the pigs are definitely a bit above the, you know, the difficulty cut, but can be worth it.
Yeah, for sure. So,
you're going to be carrying around a lot of currency in Kingdoms, and adding 40 to both baubles and relics. Well, it really doesn't matter for baubles, because it's most likely going to be like 8 pine cones, 12 medals, 16 spoons. So
this essentially doubles your gold stacking. So where instead of taking 3 for like 120, it's just 1.5. That's not even that good when you say it out loud. I don't feel right putting it in C though. I guess we should though. Just make a like I'd say it's at least B, because it is, compared to a normal Strongbox, it does give you about the same inventory extra space. Yeah, that's, oh my god, that's crazy. Because I'm just doing the math in my head, so it's like, if you have 2 full stacks with the big Strongbox, it'll be 160. But if you have 2 stacks with the regular Strongbox, it's like 104. Like, your chance of, if you're at about 104 gold, you know, you might not get much higher. I don't know.
I mean, you can spend gold very quickly in Kingdoms.
Yeah. Like, any gold you have goes out very fast. Like, the moment you have a good amount of gold, it's, you know, upgrade the inn so you can buy a bunch of stuff, get your path upgrades, you know, start swapping people, like, get the physician in, start locking quirks, removing stuff. It goes very fast. But I think B's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Alright, med gear, medicine chest, increases stack for bandages and restoratives by 6, which is pretty solid. And I didn't rate this too highly just on paper, but the fact it costs 25 is not bad. So, and you get the +2 for the mixing kit.
Pretty cheap. This drops from the Chirurgeon sometimes, or the Chirurgeon, however you want to pronounce it.
I just started saying surgeon. I don't deal with it anymore. But yeah, it seems kind of low impact. It makes something else better.
That's kind of the thing I feel about anything that has the, it buffs the items that are made with this other item, which means you're basically allocating 2 stagecoach slots to get extra items made.
Yeah.
Which I don't feel is that impactful unless it's something like the Icebox, which already does something good on its own.
Yeah, it's like the bonus item production, I don't necessarily care too much about. Being able to stack extra stuff and be nice, that just makes it more inventory. And even if you don't have the mixing kit where you're pumping out restoratives, you can still buy them. Like, you can upgrade inns to have physician items. You can, with the Kingdom's Quest for Beastmen, you can, you have that one step where you have to visit so many hospitals and hoarders, and you can actually not complete the step, and you can just go farm hospitals for a couple regions if you want to. So you can like stock up. I don't know, the stacking's okay.
I feel like there are some items that are really good when stacked, like the healing salves.
Yes.
But other than that, it's kind of like, when are you going to use 8 bandages per fight? What is this? True. Confession 4?
I know. Alright. I'm thinking B.
I'm definitely thinking either B or C.
Or C. I like that. The thing is, my gut check was like, I don't like this item normally. And maybe I'll just give it the benefit of the doubt, but I got someone else saying C, so I'm gonna throw it in frickin' C.
Yeah.
There you
Get
go.
out of here, you old bag.
Look, this one's made of metal, this one's just Gucci leather. It's gold too. Look at this. This costs so much money and does nothing.
Yeah, too bad we want the things inside of it, not the thing itself.
Yeah. Okay, bottle case. Not the best in confessions, necessarily.
Yeah, what did your top make again? I've kind of forgotten. Was that the good one?
What are you talking about? Concoctions?
No, what did what did Olympic and Retort make? Did that make concoctions and powders?
Yes.
Okay.
I know the powders are the resist powders, and I think like shimmering powder. Nightshade concoction, so it's like a speed poultice. No. That's the Deathblow one.
Yeah, it's Deathblow.
Okay.
I mean, this is about the stacking though, and creating more. But
true.
Are you actually running bottle case? Is the question. Do you need concoction and powder stacking?
Not really, no.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is another C.
Yeah. All right, compress kit, stacking poultice. Not nearly as good in Kingdoms, just because currency is so important to manage, and at times it can be kind of scarce. So like, you don't really need to poultice stack either. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do to mitigate beastmen and all that, or just the normal regions. You don't really need to stack a bunch of poultice. I think the poultice lasts 3 regions, which is good. But like, you're not going to put on the blight poultice and then run back and forth through the fetter 3 times. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I guess you could.
I mean, this item, is much better in Confessions, where you stack up your pulses through the entire run, and then you apply them all before the final boss, which actually matters. But
yeah. All right.
Can't really plan for that in Kingdoms. I mean, you can kind of for the final boss, but like that's at the very, very end.
Yeah. And unlike a lot of the other Stagecoach gear where you can just pop it on, do the one specific thing, then pop it off, like the ones at the top, can't really necessarily do that for this. If you're going to have poultice stacking, you have to commit to that. Or I guess you just use it for that one quest step that clogs up your inventory.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is this another C?
Yeah, I feel like this is another low impact one.
Okay.
Like, spoilers for when we're going to talk about it, but I really do think all these items are just outclassed by blueprint tubes.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Like, just looking through all these, I was like, you can just get blueprint tubes, and it does that. It does the important part. You just pump out extra items, and it's crazy.
The stacking doesn't matter.
Right. All right. Mortar and pestle, though. This makes items. Making items generally better than being able to stack them. So I think getting random poultices here and there, throw them on before you go somewhere, just, to make use of it, is relatively good.
Yeah, and you can keep them for the specific regions you're going through, because, like, at least in the first map in Kingdoms, the baseline one, there's a bunch of sprawls next to each other, for instance. You can go sprawl sometimes. A bunch of shrouds next to each other as well.
Yep.
So you can save up the certain ones for someone who's going to go through all those. And 25% isn't that low, really.
It's not, no. I think this is around A, personally.
This is a decent item. Here's the thing in Kingdoms. In Kingdoms, you have places you're going to go that don't really have dots, like the Tangle, which I think that has a little bit of bleed.
Yeah,
but,
just
like,
the
bleed
Herbalist
is good in every region.
on the night, but yeah.
I guess you can hoard Blight and save that for sieges, because there's a bunch of Blight. So yeah, it's kind of good, yeah.
And if you're feeling B, I
Is this
think
a-
B too, but
I'm thinking B, but it's kind of luck-based whether you get a good roll. Like, I can obviously someone anecdotally saying, oh yeah, I got like 10 Blight resist ones in a row, and I absolutely just swept through the entire game. And someone else is saying, oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of burn, and I'm at like the other side of the map. I'm at the bottom right.
yeah, that's fair. All right, I'll go with that. It's a useful item, but this isn't like Confessions where you can totally dictate where you're going. Like, you get this early, you get a couple burn poultices, and you go, okay, I'm just going to go to the sprawl when it pops up.
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to point out as well that the stacking, like the effect of the item that you actually use, lasts even if you like throw that hero in you have them rest for like 10 weeks, and then when they come back, they're still going to have it on them.
Yeah, because they're not traveling; they're just sitting, which is a very interesting optimization strategy. It's not usually super incredible, but it's helpful.
Yeah, I have been hit multiple times before by a random strength token, and I'm like, hey, wait, how did my Crusader gain a strength token?
Yeah.
And then I remember, oh yeah, 12 weeks ago they used boxing gloves.
It's really good with food, too, because you can just food up a defense team, and they can just sit there with it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, medical equipment, bonus travel healing.
I mean, healing is good, yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably like the most boring item there is, but it isn't bad.
I know. I actually think travel healing is really good in this game. Like, you get 2 ticks per road or something like that, and that can be quite a bit.
You're not always going to have a healer with you as well, because you are at the mercy of the game, whether like Vestal just doesn't appear on your team. You sometimes don't get Flagellant or a Cultist.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard this, but there's a strategy where your starter Kingdoms team, you draft all the healers and stress healers or something, so you have them guaranteed.
Oh yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. But okay, so it's travel healing, it's pretty solid. The only issue with travel healing is that fatigue kind of cuts it down a bit. Because where this thing is really good at keeping you topped off. And I guess it can keep you topped off for even with fatigue, but like this feels slightly lower impact. I don't know. I think it's still good. Is it A?
I think it's all right. The thing is, I like to always build with a healer in my team, but I do understand that, yes, sometimes you're just not going to have one. Like, your healer gets hit with, like, a stray crit, randomly drops to death's door, gains 15 fatigue when they reach the inn, and suddenly... Like, I had a moment on my first Kingdoms run where I brought a Hellion out, she was all fully rested for a region, she got hit by a crit, Sundering Steel, knocked to death's door, and by the time she was at the inn, she had 25 fatigue.
No. That's so bad.
Yeah. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. I think that this is either B or A. Maybe I'm thinking B more than A, because
okay, yeah,
you don't always need it, and plus it's only like three, maybe 4 fights maximum you're going through. Actually,
true. Okay, we'll do it. I was gonna say too, that it's not too hard to keep your wheels maxed out either in Kingdoms. There's less what is it, the road trap?
Less rough patches.
Yeah. Alright.
More road fights.
More road fights than anything, yeah. Like early game you get the safe roads bonus, and then like escalation 2-3 you get bonus road fights, so it's like not as often. Operating table I think is actually pretty good.
Personally, I think this is one of the biggest cases of how the mighty have fallen from Confessions to Kingdoms, because the thing about Confessions is that to remove diseases, you need leeches, you need Chirurgeon's Table, or you need to randomly find a hospital. In Kingdoms, you can just upgrade the inn to remove diseases. Like,
massive true.
I feel like I've never actually needed the operating table.
You know what, that's fair. And it costs 40.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive.
Is this just C?
I mean, it is free disease removal if you're lucky. But... well, yeah, that's the thing. It's only like 10% after location, and there's only 3 locations.
Yeah, so you're traveling around a lot. Your odds of having... because I think the disease removal physician upgrade is literally the first one.
I think it's like it's top row on the left, I think, after the basic extra stress and extra heal.
Yeah, it's not too hard to just throw a couple in-mats into it and then just get it, so...
Yeah, and the thing is, you need to keep that diseased hero with you, so like if you go 3 regions and you still haven't gotten the disease off, you probably need to throw them away into like an inn to remove fatigue, so you can't gain benefit from this when they're out.
Okay. Is it C?
This is a tricky item. This is definitely one of the harder items to rate because it is luck-based.
Let's leave it here for now, I guess. Unless you really want to move it, we can always come back.
We'll see. We'll have to compare them at the end.
We'll see?
Oh, yep. You heard him.
Alright. Alembic retort, we were talking about this a little bit ago. Yeah, chance of concoctions and powders. Concoctions are things like, I think, laudanum and
laudanum,
nightshade concoction. There's not too many.
Yeah, there's not many concoctions.
Yeah.
Powders is like, isn't Pouch of Liar powder? I don't remember.
Oh, it might be. I guess I can just look this up.
Yeah.
Alright, hold up. Concoctions. Such a weird word.
I don't think it's going to actually give you a thing. Oh, yeah, we're back to stagecoach items.
Okay, let me...
Yeah.
Laudanum.
Oh, look, it's Darkest Dungeon 1.
Grr! Combat items. Okay. Concoction. Okay, let's look at powders first. Ablative, chalk dust. So the resist powders, pouch of lie, shimmering. Okay, so some of these are pretty good.
Neutralizing powder is good.
Yes, incredibly. Restoratives, we'll look at that later. Concoctions. That's it?
Concoctions also includes Nightshade Concoction.
Yeah, where's
It's not a combat item, so it's not here. It's an in item.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I will say that Alembic and Retort creating the Nightshade Concoction is a huge boon to it, because as you can see there, 10 fatigue heal.
That's true. So you have a chance of just healing 10 fatigue, for free, and then giving yourself some DBR too, which is I
mean, the DBR doesn't matter. Deathblow resist is a myth, but
it is. But when you get those talent upgrades, like the mastery upgrades, where you can get bonus stats, you get like an extra 20, like 15, 20 DBR, and then you can stack this on top, so it actually starts to matter.
Yeah, it matters with 1 hit per fight. But yeah, the fatigue heal is the main draw, of course.
Okay. Calming Incense is a poultice?
I guess it is.
Interesting. Alright. I'm getting lost in the sauce here. Wait. Holy crap! It's up here. It's been here the whole time!
Yeah.
Let's go jumping around this. Alright. We're looking at Ed. Alright, so what's that mean for this? There's some good hits on this.
Yeah, it's not exactly bad. I do like the Nightshade Concoction. I've said it enough already. That's probably the best reason to run this.
Okay. Is that good enough for something higher than B?
It might be, actually.
Yeah,
if we put Work Table Loom in A, and that has a few good hits, this is a few good hits as well.
True. Yeah, what else is see. Pouch Ally doesn't, it matters a little bit for, for like creature dens and stuff, it matters. Fetter, it matters. Beastman, it can help you with positioning. That's about it.
Beastmen, I don't think I ever use it against Beastmen, because it usually moves the Tribe Walker forwards.
Yeah, true. Alright. Yeah, no, I'm okay with this. I like this. The mixing kit, though.
The mixing kit creates restoratives, which are very nice, always.
Yeah. So this is all the big stuff you're used to, like healing salve, adrenaline tonic. What else is there? Triage kit.
Stimulants.
Stimmies give you
yeah, fatigue heal.
Fatigue heal. Let's look. Does it give you?
And also, so does invigorating intoxicant. It doesn't say that, but it does.
You're right, it does. And then smelling salts also heals fatigue. This is nuts. Every single one of these is useful.
Yeah, there is no bad hits for this item.
Right.
Even adrenaline tonic, which is probably the worst, like that's still 18 points heal.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely.
Yeah, this has to be like either S or A. Yeah.
No, this thing, especially like early, can because you're talking about you may not always have a healer on deck. This pretty much supplements that. Like this can just keep pumping out stuff. You're solid.
Like Alembic and Retort gives you 1 Nightshade Concoction when it procs, so that's 10 fatigue heal. This gives you 2 stacks of stimulants or invigorating intoxicant, so that's basically 10 fatigue heal as well.
Yeah, and the smelling salts, that's an extra one.
Yeah, true. Smelling salt's probably an underrated item in Kingdoms. I mean, you may think, oh yeah, it's just fatigue heal, but no, that dodge, that can help. Yeah. And when it removes stun, you get insane value.
Yeah, the random Tribe Walker stun. So just solid overall. Yeah, I'm vibing with this so far, how it's shaping up.
And don't forget Death. Death can spawn too very easily.
Yes. And so just having any extra thing to help against her is always helpful. Okay. Let's see. The
Explosive magazine.
Yeah, magazine.
Back to stagecoach items.
Explosives.
So that is the grenade items.
Oh, it's right here. Yeah. Just the fire ones.
No, there's 2 more. The noxious ones also count.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're split up by flammable.
Bombs or grenade.
That's right. The the bleed ones are contraptions.
Yeah, they're traps, I think, or something like that.
Traps. Are they traps? They might be traps.
Yeah, I've always wondered why a spiked ball, like, that you just throw at someone as a trap, but...
Yeah, like
Actually,
these should be explosives. I mean, serrated's fine, but these are not traps. Like bear trap, of course, crow's feet, historically a trap, but like, nah.
I think scrap grenade definitely should be an explosive. I mean,
Yeah.
it literally says grenade in the title.
Right. Plus, that would add a bit more to this. I mean, it would make sense too. Like, one wagon item gives you all of the throwable dot items. That'd be helpful.
Yeah.
All right, so
I usually find myself saving explosive items for like, oh, what if I need this for a really hard fight, and then it never shows up.
the mega elixirs of Darkest Dungeon. But no.
No, that would be the refreshing spring water.
Oh, yeah. Because I don't know about you, but every time I have the spring water, I'm like, well, I could heal this stress, but I want to get value out of the HP too. Should I wait till they're lower?
What? 2 more fights, and then I can just go to the inn and heal.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. All right. The noxious items not the most useful. I mean, they're useful everywhere except Beastmen and the Fetter, which is cool. But fire is way more useful outside of the sprawl. Even in the sprawl, it's not like terrible unless you're fighting librarians. So
Yeah, fire is super effective. Kind of odd that how the beastmen start torching the inn like in the background when you're fighting them, but they're kind of weak to fire.
I know it's like they're not blighting the inn. They're not reposting the inn. They're just burning it. What the heck?
They're not yelling at the inn and giving it 2 vulnerable tokens.
All right, so we get fire out of this, which is cool, but the blight marginally useful.
The one thing I don't like about this is it gives you items that only have 1 stack to them.
Yeah. Yeah, these stack one, stack one, stack one, stack one. Yikes. Yikes, yikes. I guess it makes sense, like, if you could stack 2 Greek fire grenades, like, that'd be kind of nutty. Because you just freaking torch down an enemy team.
The thing about the flammable and noxious ones that I don't like about the ones that only have 1 use is because I like to use things such as the poison ring, and these count as noxious items and such like that. But if you use them, because you only have 1 of them, then you lose the benefit, so...
Yeah, it just sits there as a placeholder. Thankfully, we have glimmers, which are flammable, so you can always hold a stack of 4 of those, but noxious kind of struggles, so... Rip in peace, poison ring. Tinderbox stays winning.
Yeah, sorry, Alchemist Plague Doctor, you're gonna have to find your Blight Res piercing somewhere else. Oh, wait!
I know, you got Venom Drop too. Man. Alright. I don't think this is outright terrible. Like, it's usable, and it's effective. So is it B?
It's probably B. I mean, free combat items are free combat items.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is
I guess...
even... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you can just throw them on a character that you're going to leave behind in, like, move them to a siege. Just dropping, like, a Greek fire grenade on somebody who's going to go fight beastmen in a siege can be pretty useful.
That's true. Yeah. And
I mean, turn 1, that is, like, 36 burn damage in total.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. And with these two, they do cost a bit of money. I think this is like 12 gold for the cocktail, the Molotov. And maybe the fire grenade too, so these aren't cheap, so it's still giving you some decent value.
In order to buy these, you need to, like, max out the combat.
Yeah, the mastery trainer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Alright,
I don't think anyone's doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Blueprint tubes. We alluded to this, where you had +1, just extra stuff on
everything.
All of your production, which, that kind of solves some issues. Like, if you're able to pump out extra, 2 Molotov cocktails, a lot better than 1. Twice as good, some would say.
Yeah, this is a really good item considering how cheap it is.
Yeah, it's 25 as well.
That's the thing. Like, you go back to the tier list for a second. We put, like, the compressed kit, we put the bottles, we put the medical thing in there. That boosts them by 2, but only for 1 item. But Blueprint Tubes does it for 1 for everything, so you don't have to, like, commit to using them. And there are some items that, yeah, as you said, the explosive magazine, it creates one item at once, but it doubles the output of that one.
Yeah.
Like, sure, this does not so good with certain others, but on what it does work with, it is insane.
The thing is with this also is that I'm 99.9% certain that the way it interacts with the griddle, like the flapjack griddle, it makes an extra stack. So it's like whatever it normally produces, it adds like one more to that. So this makes 4 pancakes at a time. You get 8. And then if you
Yeah,
have,
I think that also works that way, yeah.
Yeah. And then the stew feeds the entire party, so you get 2 things of food with that too. So pot and still, like these 3 right here, we haven't gotten to figure yet, but like these 3 make such incredibly important and just money saving items in terms of production that getting any extras is massive value.
Yeah, just randomly driving along and then you suddenly see that you've obtained 2 whiskey barrels. That can save your run.
It can. 100%. Is it S?
Yeah, I'd say this is S.
I'm feeling
this can be used throughout the entire run, basically.
And look at our friend right here. Gives it stuff for that too.
Yeah. And even the friend below it. Like 2 nitro concoctions.
Yeah, this thing is nuts. Absolutely nuts. The only drawback is, since it's conditional, you have to find something to put with it. So it can do nothing for a long time.
Yeah.
But still very good when it does work.
One other downside, which is a minor one, is there is a point of the quest where you need to have... well, actually, there's multiple points in the quest where you need to have 1 stagecoach slot taken up.
Yes.
And so you miss out on 1 potential extra thing, but usually, like, 3 items is enough.
You know, now that we're talking about it, I kind of want to see if I can get a build like that rolling, where I get the blueprint tube and I get like 2 or 3 item producers. I just want to see if that trivializes anything, if I'm just pumping out items all the time.
It might. See if you can just run... you could do another one of those all just for heroes, as long as you have plenty of fatigue heal items.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite the run. A lot of it was doing that, like spamming fatigue heal items, and then also I only got to skip a couple days here and there. Like I probably passed like 3 days out of the entire run, but each of those 3 days was like critically important.
Next up,
Tinkerbench contraptions. So that is those are
a few good contraptions.
Yeah, so these are actually good. Noisemaker not quite as good in Kingdoms because of the Beastmen like strict targeting, but it's still good everywhere else. You know, because taunt really kneecaps some fights out there.
Taunt and block as well.
Yeah,
just extra bonus.
Yeah, and you get 2. So
yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate how good it is to add a taunt to any rank.
Yeah.
Like, say, for instance, you've got Deacon in slot 1. He's got, like, a strength token. If you taunt the back line, he can't Sundering Steel crit someone to death's door. Because he has to hit the back rank with Weight of Worlds.
Yeah. So, there's just so much use for something like that. Especially if you... Because taunt's good even if you don't know how enemy targeting works. Like, if you don't know their skill sets, but... when you do know their skill sets, you can bully some enemies into some really suboptimal turns.
You don't like mulch? Now you don't have to deal with it.
I don't know if I'd rather get hit by mulch over be my guest. Just it gets stabbed in the face either way. There's no winner in that fight.
True. I'd say that the Thunderclap grenade is the worst out of all of them because it's just a chance it's stunned.
Yeah, it's some enemies don't really care about movement. This is kind of an issue I think the game has in general, but like
it buffs Tribewalker.
Buffs Tribewalker. You just hope you get the 4 Huntsman mash and then just stun 2 of them or something. I don't know, but there are some good targets for this. Not really too usable in the freaking the Tangle because Lamau drummer, but cultists, like T-clap against cultists is, in my experience, like really, 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 really good because what is it? The Herald gets screwed up by being up front, the Evangelist gets screwed up by being in the back, the Cherubs get screwed up being in the front, the Altar can go from the back to the front, which makes it easier to kill. So there are a lot of winners, but that's like a very specific case. However, Smoke Bomb, always helpful, especially against Beastmen. They might miss that in Rage turn. Dazzler, you get 2 random effects, and all of these are just really good.
Yeah, I'd say Daze is the worst out of all of them, but yeah, pretty good. You can roll stun on that.
Yeah.
Free stun.
Yeah, even the what is it? The Daze, marginally useful, but even if you can like Daze and Enrage turn and just set up better for it because of it, that's still relatively helpful. So I think the contraptions in general are pretty good. So do we think this item is good?
It's alright.
Is it a B?
I feel like combat items aren't as good to generate as other types of items, but I do like this item.
That's true. I mean, some of them can be lower impact, you know, the combat items that are like incredibly helpful are like the restoratives, but you know what it is? I think it's because in DD2 offense is easier to generate, but you know, healing has always been limited, so that's why it's not as valuable, or that's why healing is more valuable comparatively.
I guess that might be also how we're thinking, because like combat items win fights, restorative items win runs.
Yeah, true.
I'd say if we wanted to put this in B, we are going to have to move that table down to C. It is annoying me just being there compared to these others. Yeah.
If this could ever make leeches, just delete this from the game.
Yeah. I have magically conducted these powers to make a living entity.
Well, it's the surgeon. He has leeches. Also got books.
The leeches. Like maybe the leeches are stored in the armrest of the table there.
Yeah. All right. Was this Trap Maker?
Yeah.
Produce a trap item. We looked at these. They were.
Now this one goes in S tier, obviously merely because it's like one of the only items that has flavor text.
I know, right? They really wanted to remind you of.
Remember DD1? You played that game.
Yeah. How do you do, fellow kids? Remember when Wayne talked about the Trap Maker's art when you stepped on that unscouted trap and took 25 stress?
It wasn't that long ago. It was only 10 years.
I feel like any time before COVID was just like ancient history.
A simpler time.
Alright, so...
But yeah, this creates scrap grenades, creates spiky balls, creates bear traps, and it creates crow's feet. And I honestly think crow's feet is just the best here.
Yeah, crow's feet's very, very good. All these are pretty good in general. I mean, crow's feet lowering speed is nutty. Like, 2 speed's a big difference, so... I think the fact that this produces, like, 4 things that are all useful just because, you know, bleed's the most common damage over time type for both players and enemies. And that makes it so also, bleed resist isn't usually too hard to get through on a lot of enemies. Like, some may have just higher, like, you know, 40, 50 or whatever, but it's not like Burn or Blight where they get like a very specialized bleed resist where it just goes up to like 60.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Bear Trap is weird as well. Like it gives 1 root, which is like... I mean, this item is really good in campaign if you're going to go fight the baby, but...
Yeah.
I guess Tribe Walker this is good against.
Yeah, I mean, just slowing his ass down for, even one turn is helpful.
You do get 2 of them as well, which is always nice.
Oh, yeah, they stacked to 2. Okay, I'm feeling it. Yeah, between Crow's Feet and, like, the rest of these.
Crow's Feet, I feel like, is just the best because the amount of times I've been saved in a creature den by having a Crow's Feet and just removing all of the dodge, or at least one dodge, and from all the spiders at once. That really helps. That's a huge tempo advantage.
Yeah, and you may get lucky and, ping through one of those dodges and actually hit something, so it's super good.
Yeah, landing minus speed on spiders, which are on average speed, turns them to slow.
Yeah.
Can help you kill.
Yeah. Alright. What are we thinking then?
I'm having trouble thinking like it's good enough to go in A. I do think it's still in B.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of feeling that too. It's like a very high B. Like, if we did the left-right thing, it'd be like up here or some shit, but...
Yeah.
There you go. Alright. In both Confessions and Kingdoms, the Assagear, or Assay, however you say it, this thing is a run winner, like, by itself.
Yeah, remember how we said you spend money very quickly? Yeah. Like, in Confessions, you usually end up having way too many relics. You're not going to have that issue here.
I know, there's always stuff to buy. Like, in a Confessions run, if you get it at the Valley, it, I would say it generates, like, 200 or 300 gold over the entire run. And if you get it early in Kingdoms, it's going to be way more than that, too. So.
Yeah, and since there's plenty of, like, small road fights, you're going to get +4 relics from every one of those. That adds up.
Yeah. So is it anything less than S?
Nah, definitely not.
Okay.
S tier all the way.
I know, this is the only thing that really... Well, the blueprint tubes, too. Also of note, since this is quantity of looted relics, this does not get boosted, but this keeps Tinker's Gear on the map. This is like one of the few reasons you may ever want to use Owl, or whatever is the Tinker pet.
Yeah, Owl is Tinker. I forget if, like, wait, which one was the debuff res and which one was the debuff piercing out of the slime and the owl?
The owl is the piercing.
Okay.
So, insane. This is also, some of these S tier items up here, this is also why, I'll make a Kingdoms video at some point, but, the Valley, when you talk to the peasants and you get a choice of like a trinket, food, or like, in items or wagon gear, I always 100% take the wagon gear because you may hit something like super high value.
Yeah, stage 1 T set is actually much better than how it was in Confessions because the first in does not have a minus relationships chance.
Yeah, it's like minus 20% or something on both ends. So maybe 25. Yeah. All right.
Do you want to take a quick break?
You want to take a break? Okay, we can take a break.
I just need to take a bathroom break real quick, and you might want to cut this down into 2 videos.
Okay.